Have you ever wondered why some people never seem to lose hope, even after facing disappointment after disappointment? It's not because life has been easier for them. Often, it's because someone once taught them how to keep a light burning, even in the darkest seasons. Many years ago, in a quiet coastal town, there lived an elderly widow named Eleanor. Her little white cottage overlooked the ocean. Every evening, just before sunset, she lit an old lantern and placed it in the front window. She had done this for more than 30 years. The townspeople noticed it. Visitors asked about it, but no one ever received more than a gentle smile in return. One winter afternoon, a young delivery driver named Mason knocked on Eleanor's door. He had recently moved to town after losing his job in the city. His confidence was gone. His savings were almost gone. And for the first time in his life, he wasn't sure where he belonged. As Eleanor signed for the package, Mason finally asked, "Can I ask you something?" She smiled. "Of course. Why do you light that lantern every single night?" Eleanor looked toward the window. Then she quietly said, "When my husband was a fisherman, he often returned home long after sunset. On stormy nights, visibility was poor. So every evening I placed a lantern in the window. I wanted him to know that no matter how dark the sea became, there was still a light waiting for him." Mason nodded. "Does anyone still need the lantern now?" Eleanor smiled again. "Perhaps not for the sea, but people are still trying to find their way home." Those words stayed with Mason. Over the next few weeks, he noticed something unusual. Neighbors often stopped by Eleanor's house, not because they needed anything. They simply wanted to talk. Some had lost loved ones. Some were struggling financially. Others felt lonely after retirement. No matter who arrived, Eleanor welcomed them with tea, a warm smile, and her full attention. She rarely gave advice. She mostly listened. One rainy evening, Mason asked, "How do you always know what to say?" Eleanor laughed softly. "I usually don't." People often don't need perfect answers. They simply need to know someone cares enough to listen. Months passed. Mason found steady work. His life slowly improved, but one habit stayed with him. Whenever someone spoke, he stopped rushing to respond. Instead, he listened, really listened. One afternoon, a coworker quietly admitted he had been overwhelmed for months. No one else had noticed. Another friend confessed she had been afraid to ask for help. Again, all Mason did was listen. Years later, people described Mason as someone who made others feel valued. They trusted him. They respected him, not because he had all the answers, but because he made people feel heard. One spring morning, the town awoke to sad news. Eleanor had passed away peacefully in her sleep. That evening, something remarkable happened. As the sun began to set, one family lit a lantern in their front window. Then another, then another. By nightfall, dozens of warm lights stretched across the town. No one had organized it. No one had planned it. Each family simply wanted to honor the woman who had reminded them that hope could be shared. The tradition continued every year. New families moved into town and asked about the lanterns. The older residents would smile and tell them, "They remind us to be someone's light." The story isn't really about a lantern. It's about the quiet influence we have on one another. Most people believe they need to do something extraordinary to change the world. But history is often shaped by ordinary people who consistently choose kindness. A patient teacher, a caring neighbor, a friend who checks in at the right moment, a parent who keeps showing up, a stranger who offers encouragement. These acts rarely make headlines, yet they leave lasting footprints in people's lives. It's easy to underestimate small gestures. Holding the door, writing a thank you note, making a phone call, listening without interrupting, saying, "I'm glad you're here." These moments may seem insignificant, but we rarely know what someone else is carrying. A single act of kindness may arrive on the exact day someone needs it most. The beautiful thing about kindness is that it doesn't become smaller when it's shared. It grows, just like the lanterns in that little town. One light inspired another, then another, until the darkness no longer seems so overwhelming. Perhaps success isn't measured only by what we accomplish. Perhaps it's also measured by the hope we leave behind, by the people who feel stronger because we cross their path, by the encouragement we offered when no one else noticed. At the end of our lives, people may not remember every achievement or possession, but they'll remember how we treated them, how we made them feel, whether we brought peace or added more noise. So wherever life takes you, try to leave every place just a little brighter than you found it, not through grand gestures, but through everyday kindness, honest words, and a willing heart, because the brightest lights are often the ones that quietly guide others home. Thank you for spending these few minutes with me. If this story touched your heart, I'd love to hear from you. Who has been a light in your life, and how did they change you? Share your story in the comments below. You never know whose day your words might brighten. If you enjoy meaningful stories filled with timeless life lessons, don't forget to subscribe and join us for another story next week. Until then, be kind, stay hopeful, and whenever you can, be the light that helps someone else find their way home.